Hello and welcome to Marco on Markets. This channel is for educational purposes only and shares my personal opinions and investment process. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial product advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any investment. Always do your own research and consider obtaining advice from a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions. Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, the 11th of August 2026, 3:57 p.m. The market is about to close, and let's just have a look at the overall market for the day. So the All Ordinaries did increase by 0.22% today, so just a modest increase. I think it did start down lower, and then it's obviously finished up higher for the day. Let's have a look at the top movers, have a look at the top ASX 200 movers. So on the upside, we have got, so I'll just push these out. At 18% higher, we've got Austal Limited, which is an aerospace and defence company. They're up by 18.23%. Then we've got Electro Optic Systems. They also do aerospace and defence, up by 6.59%. Beach Energy, gas and oil exploration company. They are up 5.76%. Santos, which also does gas and oil, up 5.23%. And finally, we've got Magellan Financial Group, up 4.71%, and they are investment managers. And the companies, sorry, I lost my screen, so I closed too many tabs, so I'll just quickly get that back. One moment. Okay, watch lists, and we're going to do ASX 200 and merge, and the folders. So the folders were Life360 down 18%, 7 Group Holdings down 9.93%, 4D Medical was down 7%. We got Insurance Australia Group down 4.55%. And the last one, we've got Bank of Queensland down 3.3% there. I just want to have a little focus on Life360 because that one did release their earnings this morning, and I think it was down around 14-15% on open. Let's have a quick look at their graph to see where they've been. So in the last 5 years, rightio, so they in around the 2022s and 23s, they're consistently around that $5 mark. Since that, around that mark, they did put on about 400% in the next 2 years. So they went from that $5, what price is that? Sorry, I'll just turn this off. So they went from like the $5 to the $26. So they basically 4x'd, and then they did go on to go up to as high as $55, which is around 11 times a $5 price. Since the peak there, though, they have fallen away quite a bit. So the peak was around September, October 2025, and they've been as low as 68% down, and they are currently 57% down from that point. So if we have a look at the announcements, they did release this report. I did just download it before, and I had a quick look into it. So yeah, the Life360 report here Some of the key, I'll just scroll through this and give you some of the key items in here. The subscription revenue guidance was increased only by $5 million for the year, from 475 million to 480 million versus 470 million to 475 million. So investors are looking for a larger increase in subscription revenue than $5 million. So I think that's where some of the disappointment comes. The advertising guidance was left unchanged despite Q2 advertising revenue surging 315% year on year. The adjusted EBITDA guidance was unchanged at around 130 to 140 million, and the hardware revenue guidance was actually reduced from 35 million to 45 million, down from 40 million to 50 million. So they're expecting that to go down. Profit quality. So the revenue rose 38%, but the adjusted EBITDA rose 53%. But the underlying GAAP earnings were much less impressive. Q2 net income was only 5.1 million, down from 7 million from the earlier year. The net income margin fell from 6% down to 3%. So that's quite a big drop. And then the income from operations effectively was at break even at $57,000 compared with a positive 2 million last year. So I think many investors focused on adjusted metrics, but a sell-off can occur when headline growth is not translating into stronger statutory profit growth, and the market may have viewed earnings quality as weaker than expected. And then costs are rising very quickly. The operating expenses grew 43% year on year, which is faster than the revenue growth. So the key expenses included R&D up by 47%, sales and marketing up by 35%, and general and administration up by 57%. So the operating expenses increased to 80% of revenue versus 77% a year ago. So I'll leave it there. That's all I've really got to say on Life360. And for those that you don't know, Life360 is an app which you can put on your phone, and it's used to track and communicate with your family members. So you can see where your kids are at. You can contact them in the app. So it's a communication and tracking tool, a lot of which really does exist on a phone anyway. So, there's many parents out there that just use Find My to find their kids. Obviously, you can turn that on and off if you want to allow yourself to be tracked or not tracked. What else does it do? And obviously you can communicate, but you can communicate on regular text messaging anyway. So, it probably does groups well. I personally haven't used it. We have kids and we just, text message with our kids, and my wife is fairly active on Find My, just to make sure, our kids get to school safely, or if, they're at their friend's house and that's where they're supposed to be. So yeah, we'll leave that there for Life360. So anyway, we'll watch this space and see how it goes. Sometimes after a leg down like that, we can see further drops, or sometimes, new investors might perceive that as oversold and they might come in and buy the dip. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. So we had a similar case with not Woolworths yesterday, Westpac Bank yesterday, where the market wasn't impressed with the report. I think a lot of it was around the loans. So we saw a drop in loans for residential property predominantly, which was what was spoke about. And I don't have the exact numbers, but it was something like first home buyers loans had dropped by around 18%, I believe, year on year, or I think it was year on year, but it may have been on quarter. Sorry, I just don't have the numbers and the exact details in front of me. But the other figure that was quite significant, that was that investors' loans had dropped by around 26%. So currently in Australia, the Labor government have made some budget changes where they're taking away capital gains tax discount and also negative gearing on residential investment properties, which has made investment properties less attractive for existing dwellings. At least those tax concessions are still there if you purchase a new investment property. So we've seen probably in the last 2 or 3 months, a significant downfall. I'm trying to find the right word. We've seen a significant drop, I suppose, in property prices across Australia. Some markets have been affected worse than others. This happens when there's legislative changes, so we'll see what happened. I would assume that at some point it will plateau out, and then we'll see new investors potentially come back in. Maybe they won't. Maybe we will see a change of government. Maybe we'll see a repeal of some of the changes. At this stage, they are not legislated. They are likely to go through. But we'll just have to watch this space and see what happens. But back to the bank. So it was sold off yesterday. I think it lost about 5 to 6%. It's one of my current holdings, so we'll update that shortly. And but actually today it ended up flat. So that's good in one way. If you own the stock and it has dropped, that it doesn't drop further. Sometimes after significant earnings announcements, we see further drops, and sometimes we see a bounce back. So we'll just watch Westpac as well as Life360. So I might just update my portfolio and see how we're tracking. I'll just have a quick look at my approved list of stocks that I trade. So we've got Woolworths down 1.75%, sorry, 1.57%. Accent Group down 1.4%. Coles down 1.38%. JB Hi-Fi down 1.22%. And the leaders were Viva Energy, that still held 1.9% increase. Sigma up 0.34%. Westpac, Aristocrat, NAB, and Macquarie Group were all fairly flat. Interesting that we didn't see any other fuel providers like Ampol on the other list today. I think they were on the opening as a market leader. I might just have a quick look at Ampol and see where that ended up. Okay, it was still up 3.38%. So it's up there and quite a significant gain for the day. However, when it's ranked in amongst some of the other leaders, it wasn't quite as high, as I generally just look at the top 5 leaders and losers for the day. So I will just go back to my watch list and I'll update my portfolio. So we've got Accent Group that closed at 70.5. So that was the same as open. Commonwealth Bank 173.92. So that was up slightly higher than this morning. Coles fell away a bit today. So that's down 1.43% now. And the last one was Westpac, improved from this morning just by a cent. So that's still down 6%. We've got Coles down 1.43% and Commonwealth Bank down 1.8%. So on those three theoretical parcels of $40,000, we're down a total of $3,700, and that is just in 4 days. So the market can be very volatile, and especially when you're purchasing around reporting season. So often some people prefer not to be active at that time, but it can go the other way as well. So it's very hard to time the market. I believe you're either in it, and if you're in it, you're usually invested for most of the time. And when you're out, you miss everything. You miss the ups and you miss the downs. So on that note, I think we'll call that a day. Yeah, thanks for watching and supporting the channel. Have a great evening, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.